Good night, good night, good night, family. Listen, I want to share this right here before I go to bed. I am exhausted. I hope you guys had an excellent day. Um, but I want to share this right here. And as I was driving home, I had this flashback from when I was in um, college, and we talk about those of us who truly have an anointing on our lives. We didn't always recognize this in our younger days. Some of us, we weren't evil people, we weren't bad people. We were born into a world full of darkness and corruption, and we had gone through things. We experienced a lot of painful things, some our whole lives, But I had this flashback of when I was in college. So, because of so much of what we've gone through, we spend time talking about the opposition. But there are people who um, are for us. There are some people who do um, admire us from afar, and there are good people that we have connected with, and some we will still connect with, as we continue to live. Even though the bad, sometimes when it comes to this spiritual warfare stuff, sometimes it seems that the bad outweighs the good, because running into a genuine heart is somebody who's really good and solid, and they have pure intentions towards you. Sometimes it's like finding a needle under a haystack, right? But good people are out there. They're not perfect, but they are out there. And what brought this to my attention, what I want to share is, and just advise, be mindful of not allowing people to curse your connections. Don't allow people to curse your connections. Sometimes it could be people who are very close to you. Sometimes it can be um, newcomers who observe your friendship, and you got a new friend in the group, and they're trying to destroy all your other connections. Sometimes it can even be a parent that does nothing but sow negativity against all of any type of connection you have, because that parent has a spirit on them in your bloodline that wants to constantly isolate you, and break up all of your connections. And even them sometimes won't, you know even they sometimes will be used by the devil to cause a lot of pain in your life, right? But for whatever it is, always pray. When you have somebody who's solid in your life, who's a good brother, a good sister in your life, and they've proven themselves, and you guys, you make each other feel good, you support each other, and they just have your back, they got your back. Don't be so easily turn against that individual from what someone on the outside comes and sows, especially if it's someone that doesn't really know them like that, or hasn't been around you for a very long time, or even if it is somebody who knows you or been around you for a very long time. But pay attention to the pattern. Are they always telling you something negative about somebody? Or have they ever told you anything good? Have they ever seen a good in anybody? Because people got good in them, right? There may be a lot of bad, but sometimes you'll find people will curse your connections, and it could start off, you have these friendships or relationships, they start off really good, but then over time, the one who's putting these negative buzzes in your ear, what they're saying slowly begins to manifest. Why? Because they're prophesying into your life, and you're receiving that, um and sometimes we can hurt people who mean us well. What I want to share is an experience that came back. I don't know, this just randomly popped up in my spirit as I was driving home, and I just began to reflect on that thing, and so I spend time praying for the different connections that come into my life, the people who are supportive of me, which is very few, it's very, very few. I can count on one hand, and it ain't that many, it ain't that many. But I pray over their minds and their hearts, and I pray that, God continues to strengthen them and keep them covered, and sharpen their discernment, and never let outside forces come to break up these connections. When I was in college, I put myself through college. I'm my grandmother's oldest grandchild, and I'm the first one to go to a 4-year college and graduate. Um, I had a friend that I met when we had some classes together. We were both education majors. And this sister, she was always about her, she'd come in class, she'd focus, and she was just naturally smart. When she came to college as an honor student. I didn't come to college as an honor student. I just throughout K through 12, I just did enough to make sure that I didn't come home with no D's and no F's. I was a class clown. But when I got to college, I became an honor student. And this sister and I, we had a couple classes together, and then um, at some point we would communicate in class, and then we end up exchanging numbers, and sometimes we would go grab lunch together, and we end up becoming friends. She was like a very good sister to me, a very good sister. And we would spend time at each other's dorms and stuff like that. When we had work together, we would work on our assignments together, and I could ask her questions. I think she was a part of the reason too that also helped bring me up, right? Because your friends are supposed to make you better. And so she was already an honor student, and I was like, wow, because she was just seemed like she was just naturally smart. And her father was also very smart. I think he was a teacher or a principal or something like that. But he was also very smart, and he was a great writer. And whenever I needed help writing papers and stuff, I could call her dad. Her parents would accept me like I was one of their children, right? And and she had a boyfriend that was just, I just loved the way he spoiled her. He just had such a good heart. He was a good brother. So I always, even when they would get in arguments and stuff like that, and he would call and she wouldn't answer the phone, I'd be like, you better pick up that phone. Like I would, just always vouch for him, right? So I just always loved him. He's a good brother. And they actually end up getting married. But anyway, um, so lo and behold, one semester when we came back, she and I actually stayed in different dorms. We didn't stay in the same dorm. And lo and behold, when we came back, one semester, when we came back, I had a new roommate. And this roommate was she started taking a few classes with us, but she just was, my spirit didn't click with her like it clicked with my other friend. And it was used to be just the two of us. She had her, and we were independent. We didn't bother anybody. We just did our work and hung out together, or whatever, encouraged each other. We were supportive. She had her own car. I had my own car. And, we were just like sisters. Um, the Bible says there's a friend that is stick closer than a brother or a sister. I never had any siblings. She had a younger brother, but she and I was just like it almost like we were blood sisters. That's how tight we were. We really had love for each other. And to this day, we've never been in an argument or anything. But I'm not on any social media other than YouTube. But last time I think we connected when I used to have a Facebook account. But since I don't have Facebook, I don't really have keep in contact with a lot of people anymore. But this roommate that I got that showed up one semester, she started having some classes with us, and she would, she saw how close we were. And eventually she would insert herself in our conversations. And, so we just, she just started hanging with us. After some time, she and I were roommates. So we stayed in the same, dorm together. And after some time, I remember I was taking my roommate someplace. She needed me to take her someplace. And as we were riding, she told me, she was like, she told me my friend was jealous of me. And I was like, no, she's not. And she was like, girl, yes, she is. And she started telling me all the stuff that my friend told her in private about me. And the thing hurt me so bad because I just believed it, right? She'd already been hanging with us or whatever, and she was my roommate. And she was like, yeah, she was like, she was like, she told me how she was so pissed off at the stuff my friend was saying about me. And I was just like, I just got quiet, because it was like it just threw a wrench in my heart. Like I couldn't even believe she would say these things about me. And she was like, you just need to stop hanging with her. She was like, when you leave class, she was like, you don't gotta act mad or nothing, but she's kind of like telling me how to act or whatever, right? And I was like, wow, I can't believe she said that. I said, I'm gonna call her. She was like, mm-mm. She was like, don't call her, don't say nothing. She was like, don't even say nothing. Just let it go. She said, I just wanted you to know, she's telling me as if she's looking out for me, right? And she was like, I just couldn't hold it any longer because you're such a good person. You're a nice person, And she was like, she even talk about your car. Like I had a 99 Durango, and my sister, she had I think it was a 94, 90 something Honda, or whatever, right? But she was like, she even talk about your truck, and you think your truck is all that. And I was like, huh? Because I never was that type of person. Like I don't brag on nothing. But I was just so surprised at all this stuff. And I was like, why would she say this? She said, girl, she jealous of you. She said she is jealous of you. So she was sowing seeds of jealousy between me and my sister. And where I went wrong is, out all this time, my sister and I have been so tight. Before she came along, you know, we've been so tight all this time. And here goes somebody who's just coming along for one semester, and she's telling me this stuff. I was wrong because I should have, oh, okay. It cut the first part of the video, so I'm tying this together. I gotta hurry up because my memory's gonna start running out. I should have gone to my sister and talked about it, not kept this thing a secret. But being young, I learned from my mistakes. Now I'm not that type of person. Now I will communicate, especially if I got somebody who's supporting me, who's in my life. I'm not just gonna let somebody else come and sow seeds of discord, and I'm not gonna be friends with somebody who's an enemy to somebody who's already my friend. It ain't gonna happen. I don't operate like that, right? But you grow, you live, and you learn how evil people can be. Because believe it or not, people sit back, they watch, and they even envy your connections. They envy the way people support you. They be like, I wish I had that. Like there's some people, and women can be very, very crafty. There's some people who sit back and they be like, God, I wish I had her supporting me like that. I wish I had a sister like that. So long story short, I stopped talking to my friends. So now when we go in class together, I remember when I first went back to when we first went back to class. This is the class all three of us had together, and I just looked at my friend and I just walked past, and I didn't even sit beside her where I normally sit, and I could tell the way she looked, and then she looked at me, and I looked at her, and then I just turned my head, and then she was like, you know, she was acting like she didn't understand, but I was going on, I was in this energy because of what I was told. And then so the next time we had to come back to class, and the girl that told me, she was back there like nothing. She just kind of just stayed out of it or whatever. But she was sitting behind me, you know. And so the next day, I didn't say anything to my friend. So by the third day, now I could see my friend, she's like pissed off because she knows I'm acting this energy. I'm not talking to her. And I think she tried to call me after the first day or something like that. I'm not answering her phone because I got this one coaching me now who's my roommate. And I noticed she's staying closer to me ever because we never used to really hang out and go get lunch. But now I'm hanging out with her, going to get lunch with her. Everything I was doing with my friend, I'm with her. When I'm in the room studying now, we're roommates. So she's just clinging to me, right? And saying, don't answer that phone, don't talk to her. You don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. As nice as you are to her, you don't deserve nobody who talk about you behind your back and stuff like that. And she was like, she would just keep coaching me and just telling me. So after 2 weeks went by, I started missing my sister. And I'm like, how could she not, you know, talk to me? And then I'm thinking to myself, well, she was trying to call me. And then so I told my roommate, I said, after class today, I'm going to say something. She was like, no, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing to her. Just, you've already stopped talking to her. Just let it stay like that, you know? And I was like, but I just want to understand why. Like, I wanted to understand, and I feel like if we communicate, maybe we can get to the bottom of it. Maybe it was something I've said to make her feel like I was acting like I think my truck is all that, or maybe it was something I acted and make her feel some type of way, like I was just trying to figure it out because it was just keep on being on my heart. Like you understand what I'm saying? So, and she was like, no, don't say nothing. And so we went to class, and then I ain't say nothing again. And so after at the end of class, we were getting her to walk out. I said, I'm gonna say something. She was like, no, no, no. And so when we walked out of class, I was like, yeah, I'm going. She tried to pull me. I was like, no, I'm going. So I followed my sister, and then my roommate, she couldn't pull me. So I noticed she just walked so fast, and she like kind of like started speed walking to get to the other side of the parking lot. And I went to call my sister, and I called her. I was like, hey, and I was like, she just kept walking at first and then stopped. I said, hey, and then I called her name again, and I said, can you stop? You see, I'm trying to talk to you. And she was like, I forgot what you said, but she wasn't saying something smart. You ain't been talking to me, or you talk to me. I said, I just want to know, why you talk about me behind my back. Why you couldn't say what you had to say to me to my face. She was like, when I never talk about you behind your back. I said, yes, you did. I said, you told so and so. I told my roommate. I pointed where she was because by this time she had done made it far across the parking lot, right? And I said, you told so and so I'm jealous of you, and you talking about I think my truck is all that, and all this stuff. Like, how could you say this type of stuff about me, behind my back like that to my roommate at that, when me and you, we spend so much time together? And she said, no, why she ain't bring her ASS over here? And when she cussed, that had shocked me because she wasn't the type to say no cuss words. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't no cussing girls, and so she was like, no, she started talking real loud so that she could hear her, my roommate. She was like, so she yelled and called her name. She started yelling her name over the parking lot, calling her, but that girl, she just kept, and I noticed, I'm like, she said, you see, she didn't bring her ASS over here, right? Why she didn't bring her ASS over here with you? She said, she's a liar. I never said nothing about you. And then my friend, I could see, I could feel her breath, the way she was breathing. Her heart was beating fast. And then I see her eyes, where she had like, I could see like water could, not like she was gonna cry, but you can tell where it was like, it was a sensitive thing where she was so angry because it hurt her for me to act like that with her, and she did nothing wrong. She did nothing wrong. That girl lied and sowed seeds of discord. And then so I started tearing up or whatever because that when you tell a story, you got to relive it. But it's like I felt her pain. And all of that, we hurt each other. And it was really majority of me because the devil came and sowed in my ears. You see what I'm saying? And so I cut somebody off who never did nothing to me, who was supportive emotionally. We laughed together. We were just like sisters, like blood sisters. Should have been. And all of a sudden, just from this one individual, the thing she sowed, seeds of discord, that drew a wedge between us, and we really loved each other. And so she was still yelling and she called her a B. She was just cussing. And I knew right then and there it was all a lie. And I grabbed myself. I was like, don't worry about it. Don't, I was like, just forget about it. I think we hug, and I was like, I'm sorry. I was like, I'm sorry because I should have said something, and I think I don't know, she said she was sorry too because she just, was acting, I forgot what she said, but we apologized to each other. But I think I took majority of the responsibility because the seeds of discord were sown into my ears and I should have spoken on it, you know? And so I shared all of that. We got back together and we never had an argument, never fallen out. If we did have arguments, it was just like little small stuff where we told each other off, and then later, before the night the sun went down, or the next day or something, we're back together. Like little simple, normal stuff, normal how normal arguments go when sisters who love each other argue. It's nothing like where you are destroying each other, right? And so I shared that to say this, people of God, there are good people. Everybody is not against us. But when you know you have somebody who is supportive, whose actions have shown you that this is a good brother, this is a good sister, you have to pray over your connections. And especially if they are public and a lot of people know who you're connected to. There are some people who sit back and watch you and they be like, I want her to be my friend. I want that friend, and they try to figure a way to sow a seed of discord. Or there's some people who want to keep you to themselves, or they feel like they want you, or you may have resources or something they can benefit from, so they feel like if they just drive everybody away from your life, then you won't have nobody but them. And then sometimes you have toxic parents who are constantly sowing negativity into their children's relationships, their marriages. You even have to pray for your spouses when you're married. Should be doing that anyway. But you have to be very careful when you have somebody in your life that loves you, whether it's your spouse, your husband, your wife, whether it's a brother or sister, any type of connection. Pray over the good people, that in your life. Pray for everybody, but what I mean is pray over your connections, that the enemy does not come in to rob, steal, kill, and destroy, because that's what he does. He tries to destroy anything that's good. And there are sabotagers out there. There are people who are envious and jealous. There are people who are jealous of the way other people love you, and so they will try to taint your image and taint your character and destroy that. That's why it's good to always stay in unison, stay on one accord, stay in prayer, and communicate. Communication is everything. In order for anything to thrive, there must be communication. Imagine two people who are married living in the same house, but they don't talk to each other. Where's the chemistry? How can you be on one accord if you don't communicate with somebody, if you don't talk? How can you understand what's in somebody's mind? How can you discern people? And I think the internet, like my dentist said a while back, social media is destroying people, because a lot of times you may listen, somebody can send you a text messages, or somebody, you can read a message or email, or sometimes you can even watch somebody's video, but you're not having that direct human contact to where you're able to discern and feel emotions. And that's what dehumanizes us in a way, in my opinion, right? Because you need the emotional connections, right? And so when you do have good people in your life, don't be so quick to listen to what outside forces have to say. You have to fight for good connections. Okay, my phone storage is almost full. It's gonna stop this video. You have to fight for good connections, and you have to protect those people who are good in your life. You have to fight for them. When you're married, you have to fight for your spouse. You have to protect your spouse, because especially if they're anointed, and when you have an anointing in your life, you just can't marry anybody, baby. And like I said, I've said this many times before. If I really wanted a ring on my finger, I could have been married several times already, but I probably would have been divorced. You can't marry anybody that don't. Okay, my video cut. I had to delete some stuff, so I can't stay on. I got to end this video. But what I was saying was, you can't marry anybody that don't understand the anointing that's on your life. You can't, because it could take you to an early grave. As much as we fight spiritual warfare, there's a lot of evil that happen. Sometimes people marry folk that end up trying to poison them, and they surprisingly live through it. It's a lot of crazy things that may sound weird to a lot of people, but it's real, you know. And spiritual warfare is very, very real. And if the spirits are not in unison, then it's not going to work. And when you have good people in your life, when you've met a God ordained spouse, they're going to understand these things. They're going to understand either more than you, or you're going to end up helping them as well. And you're going to grow together. You're going to be on a grow together. There's not going to be a thing where you're, fighting against your spirit. When you come across friends who are God ordained to be in your life, they're going to help you grow better. And they're not going to fight against your spirit. You know what I'm saying? They may rub you the wrong way sometimes because iron sharpens iron, but it's not going to be like in a way that hurts you or damages you in any type of thing. Like you may just bump heads sometimes. You may have disagreements. You may have to hang up the phone on one another sometimes because they say something to piss you off. But if you're, righteousness is in you, if what they're saying is true, when you self-reflect, you may end up calling them back later. You just probably didn't want to hear what they were saying at the time, but you're gonna call them back later, let them know, okay, it's true. God, I get it. But it's something that's helping you, it's benefiting you, it's making you grow better, right? It's nothing that hurts you personally or professionally or to publicly tarnish your character. And then they're gonna have grace and mercy for you as well. They're gonna be able to pray for you. You'll know it'll feel right, right? But also be mindful of those who try to come and sow seeds of discord to destroy your God ordained connections, right? That's all I want to share. My video cut like 3 different times, but I'm gonna connect them all together. But this last cut, it kind of just took me out of the zone that I was in talking. So I had a lot of stuff on my mind, but it just kind of gone now. But I think I shared enough, right? There are people who sit back and watch your connections and they're jealous. They want to destroy them, right? They want that. And then this roommate of mine that did that, she said so many negative things about my friend and how she think her fiance was all that. But really, after me and my sister came back together, it was like I was able to realize how envious and jealous. Not only was she of our connection, but she was also very jealous. She was the one that was jealous of my sister. Because see, my sister had a fiance who really loved her and he spoiled her, right? And the boyfriend that my roommate had, he was on drugs, and all he did was use her. So whereas my sister's boyfriend was catering to her, spoiling her, very respectful guy, and admirable guy, her boyfriend was just, a knockoff. And he was taking her money. She had to give him money. I remember one time, she even had us, we drove her to her hometown because she had to bail him out of jail. Yes. So, I mean, she was the one that was jealous. But again, I just, I was young. I was, not as young and naive. And, we grow, we mature. I wasn't as mature. And there's a lot that I still have to grow and learn, But now I am more of no one can't just come into my life and sow seeds of discord like that. Like I got to get to the bottom of stuff, because people can be messy and just gossipy, and I just can't believe everything I hear about somebody because even hearsay is not admissible in court, And then not only that, now with everybody on social media now, you got so many people just making up stories and lies. Like you got people creating videos just are talking about people's lives, and just things are just 100% false. It's 100% fake. They're even creating videos saying people are dead and these people are alive and well, and people are believing this stuff. I remember back in the day when Facebook first came out, it was just you had to have a college domain. It was only for college students, so it was a lot of professionalism and everything. Then after some time, they opened it to high school students. Then after some time, they opened it to everybody in the world, and it's just you know but anyway, that's all I wanted to share. My eyes are burning. I'm sleepy. Y'all have a blessed night. I'm going to bed. But be mindful, right? Pray over your connections, pray over your marriages, pray over your relationships. When you're dating, keep your stuff private. But when you have friendships, some friendships, they can't be private. People are gonna see you out and about. People are gonna see you if it's in a public eye. If you're on social media, people are gonna see who you're connected with sometimes. But pray over your friendships, and because there are good friends out there. The Bible tells us that there's a friend that'll stick closer than a brother, you know. But you got to pray for those people, because the enemy who roams, he roams to and from, seeking whom he may devour. And he wants to destroy good connections, so you can always feel isolated. Even though there are times we do go in isolation, sometimes we're out of it, sometimes we're back in of it. Sometimes we're out of a wilderness, sometimes we're back in a wilderness. When you have an anointing on your life, God will constantly lead you and direct you. But I'm talking about when you have good people who are supportive to you. Don't believe everything you hear. Don't be so quick to let somebody come and sow negativity and make you hurt good people and drive good people off who are meant to support you and love you, because you never know what they have been going through in their lives as well. So communication is very important, you know. At least for me it is. At this point in my life it is, right? You can learn a lot through communicating, right? And so anyway, have a blessed night. God bless you, and I love you.